Right, the first one is, does the union
Have
have
the
authority to tell you how to run the department?
No,
basically?
but no, not at all. The fire chief runs the fire department. However, the union does negotiate a contract with the administration, which they did, and the union was very adamant that they did not want to drop lower than 40 firefighters per day, which we haven't. We're in compliance with the contract.
Okay, now Ed Lomelli was in here, and he was saying that there was public safety concerns with taking off the one ladder fire truck.
Then why did he
offline.
sign? Did he sign the contract?
Okay, all right, but the question that George had was, are they qualified to assess that kind of risk?
I would give Ed Lomelli a lot more credit than Tom McDermott as far as what's safe and what's not safe. I would say Ed's been in his whole career in this business, all right? Ed Lomelli signed this contract, said you can't go lower than 40 firefighters per day. I am at 40 firefighters per day. If Ed Lomelli signed a contract, why would he sign a contract that was unsafe, Jim? If Ed Lomelli said 40 firefighters per day is unsafe, but I'll sign the contract even though that's in there, that's crazy. A contract's a contract, right? Last year when they got their 4% pay raise, by the way, the last 4 years, they got a 3%, a 3%, a 4%, a 4%. Each Hammond firefighter costs the city of Hammond $100,000 a year with benefits and overtime included, all right? $100,000 a year. A truck with 4 men per shift times 3 shifts is $1.2 million a year. I have 4 trucks. That's $5 million a year. Just in trucks, and these things don't go out very often. I'm not cutting an engine. Engines are the ones that go out. I'm not cutting an ambulance. Those are the ones that work the ambulance workers are working their butt off. I'm not cutting ambulances. I'm not cutting engines. I'm cutting trucks, the ones that sit in the station most of the time. If I were a firefighter with seniority, guess where I'd want to go? I'd want to go to Truck 8 in Hessville. You know why? It hardly ever goes out. I can make $100,000 a year. I could show up to work 24 hours a day and play video games and work out, and then go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and go do my second or third job. You make a lot of money doing this, and you're not even getting tired at work because your truck doesn't go out very often.
219-845-1100.
$100,000 a year. I tell you, people that work for $100,000 a year, what? This is my show, right?
I know, but all right, you go ahead. I want to get some
people that make $100,000 a year work their butts off. I know a lot of people that make $100,000 a year. They work their butts off for that money. They work and they're stressed out and they deal with a lot of. I mean, you guys are making $100,000 a year. There's hardly anybody else that could say that. Go out and earn your money, guys. I'm not doing anything that's endangering Hammond, Indiana. In fact, we're more protected than any place in the region.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, and the only reason I was cutting you off is I want to get some of these folks in. I'm a little surprised that you're pushing back so hard on this.
Dude,
I don't know that much about this issue.
That's how I roll. I mean, it really is. I'm the mayor, and these guys are punching me in the face, and they're lying to the public, and it makes me very, very angry. Because first off, most of the people that are knocking on your door, they live in Porter County. They don't live in Hammond. They choose not to live here for a number of reasons. Okay, so that frustrates me because city employees, the ones that the firemen want me to cut, they want me to cut the other 20%. They're saying, don't touch public safety, us and police, get everybody else. So I'm like Michelle. Michelle works in the park department. They're saying, cut Michelle and her coworkers, don't touch us. I look at Michelle and I look at her coworker and I said, these guys all live in Hammond, 100%. We make sure that they live in Hammond. The firemen, by state law, have the right to live outside of Hammond. So what they're saying is, leave us out-of-towners untouched and hack away at those Hammond residents. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I'm a big believer in Hammond, Indiana. My kids sleep in Hammond, Indiana, where I sleep, where my house is. I love living here. We're totally safe here. We're more safe than any other city north of Indianapolis, fire protection-wise. We're more safe. These guys are scaring the public,
and let's
it
go
makes
to
me
line
angry.
3. Dave, you're on the air.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Mayor. Good morning. How are you?
Thanks for calling.
First off, I was surprised also to hear that you're questioning the risk and responsibility of the Hammond firefighters. That's not why I'm calling. I do have 2 questions. I will ask them and hang up. During the budgetary constraints that you're under in the city of Hammond, have you considered reallocating some responsibility on the fire department? I don't know how many battalion chiefs, how many assistant battalion chiefs you have, but in spite of putting the city at risk, have you considered putting some of these guys on rigs to offset some of the costs?
Good question, Dave.
What's the second question, then hang up?
Second question, is Dave Ham currently a paid consultant for the city of Hammond?
Okay, there you go.
All right. Dave Ham works for the city of Hammond as a consultant. Yes. Okay. First off. Secondly, what was the first question?
Reallocating some of the fire guys.
I got rid of 4 chief spots that have been staffed for years and years. 4 chief spots already, just in this last move. That was in addition to the 12 that we saved on the truck. We got rid of 16 spots, 4 supervisory positions that weren't on shift, and 12 that were assigned to the rig. A lot of people are complaining about the battalion chiefs and the assistant chiefs. In fact, the union wanted the battalion chiefs to be stationed on a fire truck and to report to the scene. When battalion chiefs have they have boundaries, but the boundary is like the whole Southern Territory. Jim,
I'm surprised. I am surprised that this has escalated.
I'm in my third term.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I'll ever run for mayor again? Do you think I'm playing politics right now, or am I doing what I think is the right thing for Hammond residents?
Well, you know,
or do you think the firemen are really concerned about public safety, or are they out there protecting jobs?
That's a question that I think the listeners have to answer.
I agree.
I
agree.
And it has played out here this week. And I was as you were talking, I was thinking, I'm like, all right, now if I'm sitting in Highland or I'm sitting in Hammond or EC or Griffith, and I'm listening to you, am I thinking, one, is this guy just in a tough spot? He's got to cut, and there's really no other way than to just play hardball. And I appreciate what he's doing as a mayor, trying to cut and be efficient and lean. Or am I sitting there saying, I can't believe that you're cutting firemen at a time, that you've already cut firemen. In other words,
I haven't laid off one fireman.
But I'm sorry, through attrition.
I haven't laid off a single fireman in 8 years.
You didn't lay off an attrition, but so I don't know how that plays out. In other words, I'm gonna re-listen to the tapes, and we'll play this during the flashbacks. I think that there's people on both sides, in and out of the city of Hammond, and I don't feel like there's a lot of people in the middle on this issue.
Well, the people that don't live in Hammond, I could tell you that Hammond's safer than where you live. I don't care where you live. If you're listening to WJOB right now and you don't live in Hammond, you have no right to criticize Hammond because we're the safest. We in Hammond are the safest in the region. Absolutely. Without a doubt. We have more manpower by 10 than where you live, Jim. Probably by 20 than where you live. So if Hammond is unsafe, Jim, you're living in a tinder box. Your place, you're going to have the Great Fire, and, Hammond is way safer than any community that's listening to WJOB right now.